Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I'm waiting for people to come on. Waiting. I want to introduce my video today and my guest today. I'm Aaron Intende and my guest is Rachel Agasha. Uh, Today she's gonna share a bit about her story, Dvlottery, and we're gonna be talking about how she prepared herself for the Dvlottery and uh, so we're gonna be talking about how she prepared herself. So how is everyone? How is everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Uh Happy Easter. Happy Easter guys. Happy Easter guys. Can put comment Agasha. I'm waiting for Agasha. I'm Aaron Intende. And if you're there, you can leave uh, you can leave a message onto this video. We shall be talking about your questions and your comments, whatever you'll be commenting onto this video as the live video goes on. I'm Aaron Itende and I'm in Massachusetts. Uh, I can see a few of you are commenting. That's great. Please keep on commenting. As we go on the video, I want to introduce myself. I'm Aaron Itende and I'm in Massachusetts. I have I have been here for a while. It's 2 years about now. I can see we are having Anisho Agasha joining us right about now. And uh, hi, Rachel.
Hi, Aaron. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming on. How has your Easter been?
My Easter was is good. I mean, we had to resume work today, but looks like it's not the Ugandan setting, but it was good.
Okay. What I know about Easter, uh, I no longer celebrate Easter the way I used to celebrate. You know, when you grow up, you're into working and looking for uh, adventure into a lot of things, especially when it comes about living a life and making money.
Mhm.
So I believe your Easter wasn't like when you are young. You know, they used to prepare you food and all that.
Not really. I think from a grown-up perspective, really, it's the what is it called? The thought of you have to figure it out, like you're on your own. You have to, and being in this country, I was actually
Yeah.
very homesick. I was like, you know what? Right now, I'd be at my judges and living my best life. But why am I in this country right now by myself? Yeah. So just give
Yeah.
me a minute. I need to throw some things in the oven, and I'll be right
All
back.
right, please go on. Go
Sure.
on. Go on. Hi guys, whoever is on our live YouTube. Thank you. And my name's Aaron, and today we are having a guest, and that is none rather than Agasha herself. And today she'll be prepared for her interviews, how she prepared for her interviews, how she she managed to get most of the documents, and how it went on, like preparing and the whole process. So as I was telling you guys, I want Agasha to understand what I just told you. So today, Agasha, she's gonna be like telling us about how she prepared for Dvlottery and about the challenges she faced, and from preparing to going to the interview. Yes, we might talk about the interview too, but for today's topic, we want to see how she prepared herself for the interviews and how she went to the interviews, because always beside interviews there is also medicals. So we shall be sharing a little bit about the interview and other parts of the process, but in specific we're going to talk about the preparation, the documents. So Agasha, you can talk to our viewers.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Rachel Akasha. I won the DV in 2021, and I moved to the States in August 2022. So in preparation, so of course, when you read, I think things have changed. People have been asking me lately, what was my case number? I don't know if I remember my case number. I don't like, for me, it wasn't how things are. I think things have changed a bit. And before, I wish people would understand the part that things actually do change. But anyway, so when we have these lives, I love that we get to share from our experiences. So if you're watching this video or you're on the live and your experience is different from what I am talking about, it is because there's a different times, and our things were different, and I share typically from my experience. Yeah, so your experience might be different, but I am sharing from my experience. So preparing for, okay, the documentation, so there's a lot of things that they'll ask for, but most of these things are really the basics if you asked me. So of course you need, normally the things that take some bit of time for you to get are maybe the letter of good conduct, because this is something that you do not go to. Okay, things that you don't actually have. These are things that you have require a whole background check and all those things. So your letter of good conduct, you schedule an appointment with, I think, the police or some. Well, honestly, I remember these things in bits and pieces, but I remember everything that I needed to do. So the letter of good
It's all right.
conduct, and then of course the birth certificate. You need your, in the moment they needed for us to have COVID, the COVID vaccine certificate. So you needed to have that. Of course, your academic documents. Yeah. Now, I do not know if things have changed, but for me, when I read my instructions, they needed the certificates, of course, for all these things, because they need to certify, I think, that you went to the schools and did whatever it is that you had to do. So normally I tell people to go to their schools, O level, A level, and get the certificates, because these guys don't care about your transcript. They don't care about how you performed. They want that certification of, oh yeah, this human being actually did this time of study, and this is what we have to show for it. Then of course your university documents, those need to be certified. In the previous video, Aaron had mentioned that you certify your O level, A level from UNEB. I didn't certify my O level and A level. I just certified my university documents. Then, of course, if you have any living conditions, you live with any conditions, you need medical records for that. Then, of course, your passport, then the documents from your host, the tax returns, the ID, the affidavit of support. Um, Honestly, read those instructions, because all those things are in there. When we try to break this down in different videos, and I think Aaron has a video on how to break those down. I have on those documents broken down. I have a video on my channel that breaks down all the documents that you need.
Sure.
Because right
Sure.
now, I can't say all of them off head, but by the time you sit down to create a video, you've like really broken it all down before you record the video. So my preparation, I think people need to also know. I don't know. Still, I do not know if the time has changed. But like I said, I got to find out that I was selected in June, and my visa interview was scheduled in June as okay. I found out I was selected in June 2021, and my visa interview was scheduled in July 2022. So you have time. You have time to put all these things together. You don't have to panic. I've already told people that when I was selected, I was in my third year of law school. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to leave school halfway. No, I don't want to leave school halfway. But you have time. You have like I mean, is that still the same case, or have things changed?
Yeah, what I can say about that is that everything has been the same. It's just like the way you tackle all the process. Like for you, your own way, there is a way you took the process. So everyone has his own perspective about the process.
Mm,
Uh, Especially there are some people who are engaged into groups, and most of those groups, they talk about the case numbers, they talk about a lot. But if you are not into groups, you might find yourself like there is a lot of information you don't know. That's why mostly I tell the people who come to me that you should join the groups. It doesn't matter that I know much about the DV, but when you go to those groups and you start sharing information, remember, you the current. Me, I was previous what I was engaged in the previous Dvlottery. So you, if you're current, there are some items that will differ from our time. But in to be in specific, groups are so much important. So however much she talked about the case numbers, yes, indeed, we have been looking into case numbers because in most cases they were giving interviews according to the case numbers. That is before, and afterwards they went into the people who submit their DS260 will get the interview if he or she is current. If you're current and you submitted your DS260 at early time, you'll be much. You might get your interview uh, uh, earlier than the person who submits his DS260 later on. So there are those factors this which has been affecting developer, and yes, indeed, things change because remember here in America they have been going through different presidents. For example, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, his case and his perspective with DV lottery, it has been different.
yeah.
And the DV selectees who won during the time of Donald Trump, the challenges they faced, they are so much different from the current DV selectives. Yeah, DV lottery generally is calm at this moment, but by then things were not as simple as you can see right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, so because honestly, when someone asks me my case number, I'm like, okay, my case number was one long number, like a very long number. That's what I remember, but I do not know. People have
Agasha,
different case numbers now. I
I,
don't know.
Agasha, I don't want people to get confused when it comes to case numbers, because when you tell them that way, you're giving them that perspective by
Oh
then.
yeah.
But right now,
Mm,
I will tell our viewers that a case number is that number. Uh, Whenever you apply for any kind of visa, it doesn't matter DV lottery, it doesn't matter whatever, they give them a case number. It's like your number, your registration number, your reference number. So every individual has a case number, and the system. Remember, when you apply, you apply at a certain, like millions of people are applying. So afterwards, everyone located a case number according to his or her region. That is Africa, Asia, Europe, America, South America, each and every region. So, for example, for Africa, it will be, for example, it will be 2024 AF 000 39000. So when you have that 39, if it is 3900, for example, it is 39 and two zeros, that will be K. If it is 9000, it will be 9K. If it is 90K, it will be 9, then 4 other zeros. So it will be 90K. That's why my case number is 90K. So how do you determine that this is a low case number or a higher case number? If you're from 1 up to 10K, that is lower case number, because they are always the first ones to be catered for. From 1 up to 10K, you'll find like from October, they will give interviews for from 1 up to 5K. That is 5,000. Then from 5,000 in November, they will give from 5,000, they will give from 0 up to 9,000. Then December, they will give from 0 case numbers. Yeah. Lowercase number just depends on how you determine your lowercase numbers. And lowercase numbers can go up to 30K, respectively to the way interviews are being scheduled. If they are scheduled on a higher rate, it will be even 30K can be considered a lowercase number. So the middle case numbers will be like from 40K up to 6K, 60K, according to the numbers of case numbers. So that means 100,000 case number is the highest. So they give
No, no, there's nothing to add.
get your birth certificate.
Your network is breaking. I didn't hear that.
I'm trying to say is we can start with the birth certificate because I
With
believe
the what?
the birth certificate is one of the birth certificate
Oh,
is one of the requested documents.
yeah. So my birth certificate, I got one from Nira because I didn't have the original one. So um I think we honestly we had to get there's that new long one from Nira that you pay 5,000 to what is that place called?
The Kololo airstrip.
Yeah, yeah. I paid the 5,000 and got I don't think it's even called I think it's a notice or something. So that's what I used really.
Yeah, there is always the first notification you get from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a NIRA notification. Then you go to the NIRA offices. You get the national certificate. That is it.
Yeah.
The long one, the
Yes.
kind of yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
So it was easy for you to get it.
It was, yeah. My grandmother got the notification from me from the hospital where I was born. She sent that and then we're able to use that to get the long one.
Wow, that's impressive. Then if we can go to the police later,
Yeah, so the police later we booked an appointment online. Then paid, I think at the moment it was 80,000 Ugandan shillings. We paid the 80,000 Uganda shillings and they scheduled the appointment. So what happens is all this happens at Interpol, right? So you show up with your appointment. Is it like you literally have to print it out or you have to like have proof that okay, this is my appointment? Because when you reach the gate, at the point when I was doing my interview, they were big on the COVID vaccine certificate again, but I don't know if they care about that anymore. But you need to go with your passport photos. You need to go with passport photos because when you get there, those guys charge very highly for those passport photos. So you need to come with your passport photos. Then of course you normally there is a line. You wait. They take your thumbprints, those things, and then let you know that they'll get back to you when your letter of good conduct is ready. Now you want to do this 6 months prior because when 6 months expire, you have to renew. Actually, that is what I did because I need to have all my documents put together. I went for that appointment a bit earlier. So by the time they scheduled my interview, the 6 months had already elapsed. So I had to renew. So the process is different. You just go to them, tell them, you know what, I was here, I got my letter of good conduct, but I need it renewed. So you don't need to go through this whole that what you went through initially. They just let you know when you can come back and pick the new one. Actually, you return this one. I think you return. Do you return it? I think I don't think I returned it, or maybe I did. I'm not.
you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
So then they gave me the current one that I used.
Wow. How long did you get the certificate after applying?
I think it took me a week or two, maybe, because they send you a text or an email to let you know. But for me, they sent me a text. They're like, "Oh, your good letter of good conduct is ready. You can come and pick it up." I'm like, "Okay." So yeah, it was like a week or two. Yeah, so 2 weeks maximum.
Uh, how was the feeling at the what? How do they call it? Where you get that police
Interpol.
certificate? The
Oh,
Interpol, yeah.
yeah, of course they tend to. There's that whole intimidation, police officers everywhere, but it's normal. It's Uganda, really. So,
And when I say how was the feeling, because I believe you meet many people who are traveling to
oh
different parts of the
yeah,
world. How
actually,
was it like?
it's really frustrating, by the way, because what happens is you get there and these people are waiting, and they bring out like boxes with like alphabetical letters. So they'll tell you to come and look because I remember when they told me to come the first time to pick it. My letter was not there, but they told me, oh, your letter is ready. So I come the first time, they tell us, oh, check. They'll just give you the boxes and like check. Of course, there's a lot of frustration because different people come from these different places and they're hoping their letters are ready and the letters are not ready. And these guys are going through. I remember they were picking, there were people who really needed these letters so badly, but like how you come and you're a group and then like half of the group has and another group doesn't have. So it's honestly a bit frustrating because they okay, there are so many emotions. These people take this thing so seriously that
Yeah,
it's really frustrating. Even you who's just watching, you're like, oh, but they could do this faster, and don't make these people suffer. Those things, but it can be frustrating, really. You just have to honestly pray that you are not as frustrated as everybody else. But yeah, if what,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you meet anyone in the when you are there at the Interpol? Did you meet anyone trying to go through the same process like DV lottery?
I don't talk
Did you talk to anybody there?
to everyone in this place is stressed. Everyone is frustrated. Someone is out there shouting and crying. But remember, these are policemen around here, so you're not going to throw your emotions everywhere. So people are complaining. Like you don't have the chance to ask, oh, what? You just keep quiet and wait for your turn. Get your thing and go away. Really.
Is there giving Chidogo there
Oh,
to make
yeah.
things quicker for you?
You see, what's funny is it's funny how with this process you actually don't, because unless you know the top people, like the people who really do these things, but the fact that it's a system, because I remember mine had been like they had finished working on it, but there's a top guy who's supposed to sign, and this guy had not signed my letter of good conduct. So I know I knew someone, so I had to wait for like the whole day. This guy was around. He wasn't around for a while. They're like, "Oh no, he's done working." Blah blah blah. But you can't take it without his signature. So of course, this person that I knew, they made sure this guy signed before he left. But I don't think there is a way you do that unless you really know someone up that side who can do a thing or two. But I mean, I don't know. In our country, anything is possible. I don't. Yeah.
Got anyone to say like put me onto your papers? So you
Ah, not really. No, not really. No. I had been hearing about those things. I had been hearing about those things, but have you met my parents? No. No, 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 no. No, of course, something like that came up at some point. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of this nonsense. Like, I can't. Because anything can happen. Because I know people who did that, of like you find out, oh, so and so, and they were denied at the end of the day because they went for these interviews and the stories were not matching, you know? And this guy just looking, when you decide that you are going to do this, you actually do it. Because you're going to go for this interview and they're going to ask you questions that are really personal, and they're not going to ask you 1 million things. No, they're going to ask small details that you cannot miss. If you're actually married to this person, these are things that you are supposed to know. So they ask you something and you're looking at this one. They don't do the interview together. You all go do your things separately, and then you'll be mad at each other for the rest of your lives because who messed up what. But I would advise that if this is what you want to do.
can you answering please? Okay, please continue.
I think someone else is asking if you're live on TikTok now. Are you live on TikTok as well?
Uh, I'm not live. Necessary requirements for me to start making. Can follow Agasha to Agasha ratio because we shall be going live probably in few months from now. Had herself to go to the interview and medical, and that will be so. Wait for the upcoming video.
Yeah, like I was saying, if you decide that you want to marry each other, you marry and make everything official. And I would advise that get some time to actually live together, get to know each other, because these guys are not going to ask obvious questions. I think you have internet issues, Aaron. I don't know if there's a way you can switch up things, but your internet is, I think, breaking-ish.
My internet, I thought it was good.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I've switched to data. I was on two Wi-Fi. Now I've switched to data. Hope I'm clear right now.
You're kind of clear. I would think Wi-Fi would be
Mm.
better. Your Wi-Fi is not good.
I don't know. It's just that my Wi-Fi is connected to television and my son is watching.
Oh,
The only problem I face sometimes is when I'm in the sitting room. Now the only problem right now I'm in the bedroom. I believe there is
actually, now you're
a little.
better. You're much better now. Initially, you were really, really, really struggling.
Oh,
Yeah. Now that's
oh, okay,
better.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah, the advice I would give is you guys need to know each other, because as much as you can fool the world and everything, you will not fool these guys. Guys have seen all these things before, and there are very many people who have done what you're doing. So, take time, get to know each other. Favorite food, they'll ask your man or your husband, what is your wife's favorite food? And he's saying things, and then they'll ask the same question to the woman, and you guys will be giving different information. And these guys will just, they don't need any more proof of what you will provide, your marriage certificates and pictures and all those things, and just those small things will invalidate this whole marriage. And you know what's funny, they will not tell you we are not giving you because of this, they'll just say you've been denied, period. So if you intend on doing that, just get time to actually live with each other, get to know each other. Color of your carpet, they'll ask you for the color of your carpet in the living room, and you're giving different answers. So, yeah, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that everything that you're thinking of doing, someone has tried before. Everything that you're thinking of doing, they have seen it. So you just have to be as good can be.
wow, wow. Thank you, Agasha. Uh, if we are to go through this question, I see Patrick said hi. Can't wait for May for updates. Then Robert, hi. Could you please talk about DV medical where are carried out from Uganda? There is an update uh, on the travel.state.gov about Uganda, and I have my laptop here. So the location they say, I wanna go through what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, let's go through what they say, then we can know. Because I've heard about this and it's time we go through it. So they said the Nairobi Embassy medical examination instruction. All immigrants, visa applicants, regardless of age, require a medical examination prior to the interview. Only a physician accredited by the USA Embassy can perform this examination. Then they say it is your responsibility to schedule a medical exam with one of the doctors listed below before your interview appointment at the embassy. So they say medical results from physicians whom are not accepted will not be taken. So the approved clinics talk about International Organization for Immigration, that is the
IOM.
IOM,
Mm.
and then there is another one, Migration Assessment Center, MHSC, and location is 78 United Nations Crescent off UN Avenue, Gigiri. I believe
That's
Gigiri.
Kenya,
When you hear Gigiri, you feel happy, I think.
Nairobi. So
So,
are they actually doing the medical exam in Uganda
yeah, that's where we're
at
going.
IOM?
That's where we're going. They said to book an appointment at IOM, you go to that website by email or online by phone. They give you the telephone number. Then for applicants from Burundi only, they give you there is one IOM in Burundi, Bujumbura. They give you the information, the email address, the telephone number. Then they say for Ugandans, for applicants from Ugandans only, there is International Organization for Migration, another one in Migration Health Assessment Center, and that is uh, plot 47 Bukoto Crescent,
Hmm.
Naguru, PO Box 11431, Kampala, Uganda. Telefax, I believe most of you use telephone. Telephone plus 256 393 0000003. Then one Airtel number, MTN number, sorry, plus 256 77 52 73 149. That is in Uganda. So, guys, this is serious when the Nairobi Embassy has this onto their website. It's serious, and this shows you proof that it exists. So we cannot argue or talk about this anymore because it's there on the website. So you just need the location, that is plot 47 Bukoto Crescent, Naguru. So
Okay,
it's there.
so hi Paradise. Paradise is a friend of mine. How are you? Thank you for joining. So they can actually do their medical exam in Uganda. Then go with the results.
Yes.
Do they go with the results or are the results sent to the embassy directly?
That's where the questions come from. More questions now
Yeah.
because it's a new thing.
Hmm.
I believe it has happened even before this year
Really?
because I've ever seen this branch onto the website, but they were not asking people to go there. But
Yeah, because
about now,
hmm,
mm,
because I remember the same thing happened with me, but they literally give you the IOM. They actually give you details. They give you the email address. They give you everything that you are supposed to use, like who to contact. Because I remember I was thinking, yeah, but there's an IOM in Uganda, so why do we have to go to Nairobi? But for whatever reasons, I mean, if they're saying now it is available, I think at the embassy they would know, because I know in Nairobi they don't give you the results. I didn't get my results. My results were sent directly to the embassy. So I think
Okay.
it's the same
Uh,
situation.
it's the same situation. They can give you the results for you to take to the embassy, but it has to be a sealed envelope.
Envelope.
But it always depends on to your situation. For
Sure.
example, now if you're doing it in Uganda, that means they have their own way of sending the results to Nairobi.
So
So,
you do the medical exam in in Uganda and then do the interview in Nairobi?
yeah, that
That's
is it. And what I can add on to that, is like
mm,
this: since even in Nairobi, the way we used to expect two things uh, because we always got information that you have to make sure your medicals have been sent to the embassy. You have to make sure. At least, how did we make sure our results were sent? Just by talking to the people at the IOM.
yeah.
You had to talk to them like, I have my interview at this date. Like, for example, some of us, we did our medicals today and our interviews were within 1 or 2 days.
Please,
So
yeah.
we are like, please make sure, like when you're there,
Yeah,
you done with the vaccinations, it's a hassle.
it
The
is.
vaccinations,
It
it is a
really
hassle.
is.
And
Yeah.
you spend the whole day there like, oh my God, like you're in school
Yeah.
because you go
Personally,
here, go there.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I did mine, and I think I was like the last person they worked on. So, but it was like 5 p.m. when I finished. I
Oh
think
my
6 or
God.
7 p.m. 6 coming to 7 p.m.
Oh
So
my
you
God.
know how you keep moving from one space, one like one room to another, one room to another. I didn't know. I didn't know if my things were fine. I did not know. But before we went in for before we went in for the whole, I don't know if this is something that we are going to get to, but anyway, speaking about that whole situation, the after they do your x-ray, they give you the CD, the results with the CD with the results. So this lady told me, oh, don't worry, if because I did my interview on the 13th, I sorry, the my medical exam on the 13th and my interview was on the 15th, so I just had 2 days apart. I'm like, okay. They're like, don't worry, if anything comes up we shall call you and tell you. Yeah. And indeed, like the night before my interview, they actually called me like, oh, your CD is ready, you need to come and pick it up, and also please get ready for your interview.
Wow.
But then I also know people who went to do the interview before me, and after they did the x-ray, like they were married, but after they did the x-ray for the husband, he had issues. Yeah. And so they told them, oh, you know what? Unfortunately, you cannot proceed. You need to first go home and heal. So after this healing period, you can come back. But up to today. So
Was it TB?
I think so, but apparently they said his lungs had issues. He didn't have TB, but they said his lungs had issues. So
No, the doctors, they like saying there is still we want to be sure of. There is like maybe sometime, if you have ever our viewers, if you have ever had TB in the past, TB leaves a scar.
oh yeah,
So sometimes when you go to the medicals, they will find like there is something they see but they are not sure of. So it might
yeah.
lead you to go through other medical checkups.
In fact, not
Mm.
only TB, because I remember, I don't know if you had the counseling, they tell you, oh, you first go and see the counselor, blah, blah, blah. So the counselor will tell you the reasons that they say, the reasons that will delay, but they're just being polite because you know how they say it's a whole first come first serve basis. There's a way they don't wait for you, because for you to heal from, let's say, a whole TB infection, in fact, whatever infection, because this guy is like, if you have any kinds of infection, you're going to have to first wait and heal, and then you can come back. Even as simple as urinary tract infections, UTIs, sexually transmitted infections, those things that you can actually work on, they will tell you to wait until you heal. And when they tell you that, remember, you have an interview in like a day or two. You don't have that luxury. So normally I tell people, treat these things, because these things are actually treatable. Yeah. I know
But
that sorry.
but but uh, it's known that they can deny you because of those uh sexually transmitted diseases. They can never deny you. Even they can never reschedule a visa for that reason. If it's just an infection, they cannot even like reschedule or refuse you from going for the interview. The only thing which have we have gone through, which has been a common case, it has been TB and only TB. But we always, there is always a physician, like you have to meet a physician at the IOM. That physician will always go through your health conditions. For example, the physician will first check your body. They will ask you to, like, to take off your shirt. So he will go through. Well, he has to observe your skin. So he has to observe your skin and he has to give an assessment about your whole body, skin. Even you will ask whether you had a problem if with your body in the past. Maybe you broke your knee, sort of. So they want to give an assessment to the embassy about the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
And when it comes to diseases like HIV, they need to know. They will ask you. They will ask you. And even when it comes to the ladies, they will make sure they check if you're pregnant. They will ask you to go and bring samples. So they will ask for stool and so they can check whether you're pregnant or not, because they have to make sure they give the specific assessment about you. If you're pregnant, they will have to say you're pregnant. So for me, the most interesting part is when they started checking my wife if she was pregnant. I felt like these people are going too far. But yes, indeed, they also take blood samples. It was really hectic because you go through one process to another. Within one day, you go through like 100 things.
They're literally
Because
checking for everything. So they have to be sure that whoever it is they are letting into their country is not going to be any kind of trouble. So yeah.
one guy, Kenyan, is saying, "What are you saying?" So, what we are talking about is about specifically, we're talking about Agasha's, our guest Agasha's, uh, how she prepared for her interviews, which kind of documents and how she prepared herself. Then we are talking about also how her medicals were. So if you have any question, please go ahead, comment. We can talk about it too. So to take you back to the questions, uh, I hope my network is clear right now.
It is.
Okay. So after the embassy bringing us the medical test to Uganda, I now believe they will select me, inshallah. Inshallah, they will select you. Once someone is selected there, no going to these public toilets. Yeah, once you're selected, please don't go to the public toilets. but mostly care for yourself. TB is serious. TB is so serious, and yes, indeed, it's there in Uganda. I hear people getting TB. There are like few cases, but when somebody gets it, it's a very very dangerous disease. Uh, but let me ask. I don't know if you did nursing or whatever. Uh, Let me ask about TB. How serious is TB? Because
I
we
think
took injections, we took vaccinations for TB.
no, I think it's not just about TB. If you read those instructions, they talk about communicable diseases. For as long as you can transmit this disease from one person to another, you're going to have an issue. In fact, if you read the instructions from them, they have those things listed down. They have all those things listed down. And for me, in that counseling session, because this guy sat us down, because you find very many people going to Canada, Australia, different countries. He sits you down, he's like, okay, these are some of the things that are going to lead to your delay. And he goes, if you have any infections, we're going to ask you to first go back home and heal. Then, when you heal, you can come back and redo. And if someone is asking you to go home and heal, and your interview is scheduled in like 2 days, then I think that is an issue. I mean, they do the extra. I don't know why they are big on TB, but I know they clearly say communicable diseases. For as long as your disease can be transmitted from one person to another, chances are high they will be ish with you.
Uh, Stuart is saying something. Can you read that for us?
I have my OB who suffered from TB when he was young, but the guy told us he reached to a point nga when he's in bed, you may think there is no one there. Oh, honey.
What
Oh,
happened? What exactly is that? Like you may think there is no one there.
I don't know.
Stuart,
But can
please
throw more light.
leave us another comment.
Like, I think
Make
it
things
can
clear
be
for us
that
because
bad. For
it's it's a scary
it's
feeling. Like
it must be bad, yeah. But then also, I feel like if I feel like you don't choose it. But again, it's the US. For whatever reasons they do things, how are we supposed to know?
then
So
one is asking, what if somebody had TB in the past and he got healed?
that is what Aaron was saying earlier. I didn't actually know about the whole mark thing. They do an X-ray to check what is going on with you. I remember this guy after doing my X-ray, is like, "Oh, you have beautiful lungs," you know. But um,
You know,
I
I
think
always
from
like that. I always like that comment. Me too. When I went there, there's one guy who commented, and I was like, "Oh, so I'm safe." Yeah,
yeah, because they don't
it's
tell
so.
you there and then whether you're good or not. But because I didn't know what was happening, but then I kept remembering that I'm like, okay, I think I should be good because everything else could.
When you're not good, there is something else.
Oh my God, there
You
and
go through.
then because those
Yeah.
guys are also smoking. So you see how we smoke, and you're like, oh, you're on vibes as a child, you're growing up. All those things reflect. The moment you have an issue with your lungs, one way or another, because this guy did not actually have TB, but the wife said he had done school in the UK, and for whatever reasons, as he was in the UK, he started to smoke. You don't want to invade on people's, over asking what happened, what. But this guy was actually smoking. So when this came up, in fact, that the wife was very upset. It's like, okay, this thing should be minor, but if they are catching it in the X-ray and they're raising it as an issue, then I mean, what can you be? It's not just TB. They look at your lungs and you have issues like, and it's going to come here and frustrate us. So, yeah.
The problem I used to face back days when I was in Dubai,
Hmm.
they used to take us for X-ray every after 2 years. So these X-rays, they tell us that they really affect your 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 body. They really affect. It's not good for somebody to be uh scanned. Like they're scanning your
Oh yeah, the X-ray is
body tissue
horrible.
each
It
and
is
every
bad.
after 2 years.
It is really, really bad. You see how they ask you, are you pregnant? Because normally people are tempted to say, I am not pregnant. It is actually okay to be pregnant and go for those DV things. Because if they're giving a visa to a one Rachel who's married and has 15 kids and the entire family is getting these visas, now you who's carrying your baby. So when they ask those things, they just want to be sure if you're going for like an extra because it affects the baby. So the caution that they accord to someone who isn't pregnant is different from the one they give to someone who's pregnant. So they just want to be able to take care of you and not harm your baby in any way. So be as honest can be. Someone is asking about the asthma here. Actually, that would be okay because I know someone who was who is living with they're diabetic, right? So these are things that you need to mention from the word go. Aaron was saying earlier, they make an assessment of your body. So as someone who has lived with asthma all your life, that won't be an issue. You just have to have your like medical records to show because you have to if maybe you've been seeing a doctor or you have prescriptions, these are things that you just show up with because you cannot hide. I promise you, you cannot because all these tests that you go through, it's easier when you come up and like, you know what? I've been asthmatic all my life. This is it. This is it.
uh
This is it.
that's an interesting one. I had a friend before. When I won my first time, I came back to Uganda. So my friend also came back to Uganda and he told me he had also got interviews, but for him it was another process. He was on a fiancé visa. So what happened? This guy, Kampala guys used to take smoke. Let me just say smoke weed. So when he had his in the interviews, remember sometimes interviews will come abruptly. They gave him like an interview like tomorrow, and he told me, "Man, we have been smoking now. I don't know what's going to happen to me. They're going to deny me. I'm going for medicals. So what can I do?" So he went and started jogging because he wanted to reduce the amount in his blood. So he was like on tension. However much they put you on tension, seriously, they can never deny you, even
That's true.
because of drug. They will not.
They
The
can't.
only thing is you carrying drugs to the airport.
Can't.
That way
Mhm.
you get issues, serious issues. But about the asthma, what I can tell you, people have issues with the cold.
Mhm.
People have issue. I believe most of us have Africans or black people we have issue with the cold. When you go to a place which is cold, you feel the cold, not the same way the white people will feel it. So you have asthma, that's true. Other people have issues with the cold. They have allergy. When it's cold, they don't breathe well. So this kind of thing is not an abnormality, or it's not something to be careful with. This is normal. The only thing you have to know, you're going for medicals because they want to assess the kind of person you are, and the kind of health you have. You're going with to the US. So if you have asthma, just have some papers to show that you have asthma and you are on to this medication. Even there, the physician will advise you for better medication or for something to help you They are not there to make it worse for you not to go to the USA. They are just there to make an assessment about you and also help you. They even provide medication where it's needed because they need you to go to America uh, in a an, in a safe environment.
Sure.
Yeah. Can you add on that?
I think I already said what I had to say. Like I said, when you get there, they ask, do you survive? This is it. Don't feel the need to hide or defend yourself. Just be like, yeah, this is it. That's it. That's it. Someone
So
is asking.
somebody,
Mhm.
uh-huh, you can read.
Um, um, Trevor is saying, guys, I have. Oh, no, no, no. Someone asked before him, can I take some medical tests before going for the embassy medical interview? Um, so what
That's
tests
so
can I
wise.
take? I
That's
mean,
so
for you
wise.
to, for you to just like to be sure you're in the clear. Personally, I'll do like the I mean, if you're sure you don't have any of those other communicable things, I'll just test for infections, UTIs, the STIs. Just get those small minor things out of the way so that you're confident. Like when you get there, you're confident. You know what? I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, I normally advise the ladies because sometimes it is inevitable for us. You go to a place and even your body alone will just put you in a place where you're prone to UTIs, those yeast infections. I would advise that there are some antibiotics. You take these a week prior to your interview so that it clears out the infection. And as a woman, you would know how you feel if you have any kinds of infections. But I would advise that you do I'm sure even men know when you're having infections, but you take those antibiotics for a week because normally by the end of the week the infection is flushed out. Yeah. Yeah, so you can do the test for those minor things to just boost your confidence. Yeah.
So somebody asking, guys, I have a problem with the education document I need to have during my interview. Can you at least discuss about that? You have which education? I have a problem with my education document. What problem is that? Please comment.
So
Uh,
no, I think he's saying he has a problem with like he needs to know which educational documents does he have to show up with.
okay.
Yeah, so I would say for let's say okay, like I said, we share from our experiences. Yeah. So I am going to share from my experience. I did a diploma in law and I did a bachelor's in law, and then of course A level, O level. Yeah. So like I said, personally, I did not certify my A level and my O level. Yeah. But I had to certify my certificate,
Degree.
my yeah the certificate from LDC, and then I had to also certify my certificate from UCU. So normally you go to your university and go to the academic registrar. Normally they have you pay like a fee. I know at LDC I paid I think 20,000, and at UCU I paid 10,000, and they sign and stamp. So I mean that's it. That's all for all that will like short courses. If you intend to use these as evidence at the interview, just have those things certified. Normally at higher institutions, you can always get these things certified. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there any other question we can discuss before? Guys, I have Rachel Agasha. Today we're talking about her experience and in particular how she prepared for the interviews. And little bit we're talking about the medicals too. So if you have any question, go ahead, you can ask. Where somebody's asking, at Shambogo we normally pay 30K for to satisfy. Then former DV winner watching from Boston, that is Enoch. Enoch, we better invite you here, please. Could be maybe next time, or if you're really around, we can invite you here and you tell us a little bit about uh, your experience. So, Agasha, today, as we're talking about how she prepared herself and that kind of documents, we shall be having another live video about the interviews. Guys, please don't, please be there to watch that video because it's gonna be interesting about the interviews at the Nairobi embassy. Agasha, first tell us more about when, beside the whole topic today, I want people to know about how you traveled to
Mm.
the USA. Like, uh, how did you feel when you're there at the airport? Like you are landing. Tell us about that.
Honestly, for me, I know I'm going to sound a bit. Uh, I wouldn't say I was excited. Honestly speaking, I had my whole life figured out in Uganda. I knew I was going to
Okay.
finish school after school, get married and start living my life. And then this whole thing comes up and it alters practically everything. Um, so through the whole process, I mean, okay, people here on your channel do not know me, but people on my channel would relate. I, as those kids, I have four little siblings, so I was very invested in my siblings. I'm a firstborn, and my siblings are pretty much
Wow.
younger, really younger than me. And
Wow.
I was basically their deputy mother. So I was invested,
Oh.
I was happy with these kids. And then I was moving to a country where I did not know anyone. Like I'm moving to this country and I have to start my life afresh. Because for of course, for those of you who are watching me for the very first time, um, I graduated and then I moved. So I didn't get to experience that hustle, that Ugandan, or you come back from work and move to your Kazigo, and you know what I mean. I was still very comfortable living in my mother's house. I was okay. And then I have to
You,
come and start
you were still a virgin
a virgin of the street. I didn't know that
of the
life.
street.
Yeah. The clothes, in fact, even in school, because I
Let me take him to TV.
yeah, so um so I had to do this whole life thing by myself. So of course reaching here, I was really glad. I was really glad that I had arrived well and all those things, but it I just was not ready. I could say I needed like a minute or two to catch my breath before I started this whole now hustle in this country. But I was really relieved because the journey was long. So I was like, okay, now I'm in America, the America that I have been watching on TV. Okay, so when I reached, I just started running. Like how you get and you don't even have a second to like breathe or whatever. So I could say for the whole first year in this country, I was hustling and trying to figure things out and growing up, because I was an adult already. But when you're still home and you no hustle, So I've had a lot of growing up to do. I've had a lot of learning to do. I could say, what was your question? How did I feel? I was I was honestly blank. I was like, you know what? Whatever comes, let it
Yeah,
come.
I think a lot was in your mind. A
A
lot
lot.
was on your mind, like you're living your life, you're going to uh would I say weird kind of community. You don't know anybody. You are like a kid, you're starting to crawl.
Exactly. You are
Yeah,
a kid with no support. You are on
with
your
no support.
own. Of like, you have to figure everything out. You have to, my God, you're fighting
Was
for
it
your life,
that
literally.
tough? Was it that tough on you?
Um, if we compared it to how I was living, it was tough. Um, um, of course, the fact that I had these four kids to raise, okay, not like really raise, but as literally there. So, of course, you know how Uganda is. You're responsible either one way or another. Yeah. So the beauty of everything was that I knew how to do practically everything, and I was not afraid to try whatever. Like, okay, for as long as my body can allow me to do something, I will do it, because this is what I want, this is where I want to be, and no one is going to do it for me. So I was aggressive of like, if you need to do this, you need this done, call me. You need this, I will be there. So yeah, I had to
That-
put aside the chejo and all those things. You go, you hustle, you come back, you cry. You wake up tomorrow and you start again. So
yeah, I can see people asking. But let me ask you one question before we go to all these kind of questions they're asking. Uh, did you at any moment feel like going home?
that was not an option. Of all the feelings that I felt, I was like, you know what? Yes, this whole hustle, but I've always felt like going back home, I would be very useless. Because right now I can sit here and my siblings will be like, oh, like every time you call them, hi Rachel, I want a bicycle. Hi Rachel, I want soccer boots. Hi Rachel. Of like, it's as though they have like a whole tree of money growing out here. Like, you're not going to tell them you're broke. They don't want to know. For them, they have their sister in America who's supposed to take care of all their problems. So
Do,
also the
do,
fact that you I can come through for my family in all the ways that I know for sure I couldn't have in Uganda. Even as a lawyer, lawyers are very frustrated in Uganda. It is on very rare occasions where you find a lawyer who's doing well for themselves, a lawyer who, and the money that I make here, I could never make in Uganda at any one point, really. So at least, no, going back home was not an option. Of course, I missed home so much. Before I moved to the States, I used to travel, like travel different countries, and you'd be there for like a week, and in like 3 days, you're like, oh my God, I really need to go back home. But this time, I knew that going back home was not an option. So I didn't even allow myself to think about that. Like, I had my family, I talked to my family so much, like on the phone, like all the time. So I will not say, I mean, it's different having them around and talking to them on the phone, but they've been there like so
all
constant.
right,
Yeah.
all right. Can you go through these other questions before we hang up?
Yeah, we actually need to, because my battery is looking
My
bad.
host ticket non-immigrant. Can you go through that?
What is he saying?
Katerega Mazin.
My host ticketed non-immigrant I-94 arrival and departure records as his immigration status in their I-34 form he sent me. Can his immigration status be able to host me? Oh, okay. So I think, as I heard, that most the host must be either permanent resident or USA. Yes. So the your host's I-94. I mean, what the I-94 shows is your travel or like history and all that stuff. But it's true what you're saying, Marvin. The host has to be a permanent resident or a US citizen, because they're going to ask you for their tax returns. They're going to ask you, of course, for their ID, because they need to be sure this person is what did they say? What word did they use? Is okay, basically living right in the country, I should say. So your
Self
host,
self-sustained.
exactly, and they have to have lived here for at least 5 years or more.
For
So,
me,
mm,
what I believe about that is not even about 5 years or more. Me
mm,
personally, right now, I can host somebody because
okay,
what do they need from a host? They need you to be paying tax. That's
true.
the number one.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is a bonus. About him having a home is a bonus. An address, that one, everybody has an address. Then about me making a particular amount, yes, everybody, everyone here,
I don't think even the amount matters really. I think the
it,
tax
it, it,
returns
it,
really. You just need to show that
the,
you're
the
paying your
amount
taxes.
where the amount matters is like if somebody is from low, for example, some people cannot, if somebody cannot cater for you, like is earning below 20K, that means that person will not be able to cater for you. You have to get another person to add onto him.
The 20K. Okay.
Yeah.
So are
But
you
if
hosting?
you're
Are you hosting people? I know people who have been asking me for people who can host
I'll
them.
be hosting. I'll be hosting. Right now, I'm looking into hosting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I talked to a few of the people I host. They have to meet my requirements. So it's not that everyone will meet my requirements because
I know.
I have to look into things. If I'm hosting somebody, it's coming here. I'm gonna take care of this person for like 2 months, and even I can help him or her to get another place to stay if I'm not bring him to my home. So I'm looking into it, and I'm looking into so many ways to host many as possible.
That's a good one. That's really nice. People need
Yeah,
places to stay. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I
You
hear you about
go
the
through the question.
yeah. So someone asked on your own I relate. Yeah. Enoch,
In
you definitely would
Enokakis,
relate.
do you know Enokakis?
No, I don't.
Enokakis is one of my first guests on my channel. If you have ever watched
Oh,
my videos, Enokakis is one of those guests I got
I
into
should I
onto
should
my channel.
I
Hmm?
should host him as well.
He's a very nice guy. He will be able to share his story. And another thing, we add our medicals and interviews on the same date with Enoka Kiss.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
So so we are like, you know, when the mother is giving to twins,
Oh yeah. I hear you.
Enoka
I
is
hear you.
partly our twin in the process.
Oh, that's nice. That's really
Even
nice.
getting work here, getting jobs, starting up
Oh,
life, we used to share a
really?
lot. And remember, we are in the same state.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, now I
So
see.
please,
I hear you. Enoch,
okay,
I
please,
have
just
I am I'm going to reach out. Yeah,
he is
it's
asking
mm,
for that. How
how
supportive
supportive
was
was
you?
my host in terms of settling in. So my host, my host was actually nice, but she really helped with all these fast things because you do not know what to do. Also, I didn't know any people in the US really. But my host was really nice. I honestly will give her that. She was really nice. She the whole settling in process was actually okay until of course things start happening and you're like, oh, okay, those things. I'm like, okay, fine. But my host was really there, I should say, for most of the first second month, those things, yeah. And then I had to figure my things out eventually.
Sure. How long did it take you to figure out your things out?
And
Like
you see, when someone is being nice to you, you get comfortable. But when they start being funny, then you're like, oh, okay, I think my time is out. Like, I need to, And
that is
it
a
didn't,
sign.
yeah,
Like where yeah.
it didn't take long. It
You know,
didn't take long.
I
Mm,
always tell people if you're in a relationship, you have to read signs. Like you have to read your
exactly.
partner sign. Like this guy doesn't like me anymore, or she doesn't like me anymore, or I'm not a fit. You know, sometimes there's a common word we say, "Mwesi bako ba mbiesi bako."
That's true.
Like you're trying to pull something which you cannot take.
That's
So sometimes when you start feeling like I'm no longer comfortable here, God is giving you signs like you
signs.
have to move on, find another better, proper
Yeah,
place for yourself.
oh, that's true. That's true.
Because in America, seriously, with this kind of money we make here, you can be self reliant. Even if it's renting an apartment, you can do it.
True. That's true. Aaron, we need to end this live. My battery is
So
just going to black out on
So,
me.
yeah, okay, we shall end with these three questions. He sent me all tax return and driver's license. What you have to know, if your host has tax returns and is making some good money from 50,000, even 40,000, and you yourself, you're single, if you have a family too, he can cater for you accordingly to the kind of incomes which is needed. But if he can give you his tax returns, just appreciate him. That is the most important thing. Then driver's license is also important.
Mm,
About you have to get also an affidavit of support
but yeah.
to show his incomes and his assets. So he can even add a car, sort of, so that uh, because what they need is you having somebody there. For Agasha's story, she only had the tax returns. She didn't even have the affidavit of support,
I
and she
had
had the
I just
letter,
I just had a recommendation letter. I didn't
a
even have an
recommendation.
ID. I didn't even have their ID, honestly.
You see. So, guys, if you have anything, use that. They are not there to deny you.
They are not there.
So, guys,
That's true.
we
Yeah.
are ending up our video, so it doesn't matter his immigrant status. The only problem these people with another status, like they came here, they came for, I'm coming, they came for Daddy, hi. Guys, let me leave Agasha for you.
So I honestly didn't know what he was going to say, but normally it's good if someone is in good standing in the country, really. Yeah. So I mean, we don't know what his status is, but yeah, please finish that up.
So what I was saying, the only problem is when your host is still having hassles, let me say, issues with the immigrant status. That's when things become funny, because some individuals here, they don't want to like to bring out their information to the
Accurate.
immigration, what, to the
USCIS.
USCIS. They
Mm.
don't want to give them their information. So when you ask somebody to host you, he has to look for somebody else who is
Yeah,
in a better terms with
place
the
to do
government.
that. That's true.
Yeah. So if this person will give up his information, they will start tracing him or her.
Pressing them, yeah. But
Yeah.
also, I think the one thing we could talk about is if maybe they are here on, because I think if they're here, like if they got asylum, I think that's okay. If their case
Yeah.
has been concluded and everything, that's
It's
very
okay.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Bottom line is
If
the
they are
person
the
is in
same.
good standing in the country.
Yeah. So, guys, we are ending our live. Thank you for being here, Agasha. Please, thank you so much. And you can give the final word to our viewers. Then we end up.
Thank you guys for joining. We will see you in the next one. You guys take care and stay safe.
One person said, When are you coming back? Give them a
Oh,
date."
oh, I'll be in Uganda December 13th, 2024.
Yeah.
I intend to
Okay.
go home this year. Yeah.
All right. Bye bye.
Hi.